Yesterday, so you remember that on Monday we will continue the course in online. Okay. So I will be back in France. So try to go to do that online easily, more easily we can. Remember that it's 2 hours and a half, not 3 hours. 2 hours and a half, not 2 hours. 2 hours and a half. don't let the 30 minutes. We don't give up with the 30 minutes. So, 3 points. The third point, the third right we have to study is the right to object. Remember, I announced it yesterday. In fact, any person has the right to object. Has the right to object on legitimate grounds to the processing of personal data concerning them. Any person has the right to object on legitimate grounds to the processing of personal data them unless the processing is mandatory. Unless the processing is mandatory. And of course, the controller has the obligation to comply with any objection request. The controller has the obligation to comply with any objection request. But in any way, there is some exception. There is some exceptions if the controller demonstrates that they are compelling legitimate grounds for the processing. So if the controller demonstrates that they are compelling legitimate grounds for the processing that override the interests.
You read so fast.
Yeah. So if the controller demonstrates that they are compelling legitimate grounds for the processing that override the interests, rights and freedoms of the data subject. And I said exceptions, the second one. The second exception is concerning if the controller, one more, demonstrates, if the controller demonstrates that the processing is necessary for the establishment, exercise, or defense of legal claims. For the establishment, exercise, or defense of legal claims.
Mandatory.
So, first right now. The first right after the right to object, the first right is the right to restriction of processing. The right to restriction of processing. What means that this is a conditional right. This is a conditional right. And it means that the data subject should have rights to obtain from the controller restriction, should have right to obtain from the controller restriction of processing in four situations. In four situations. First situation of the four, this is the situation where the accuracy of the personal data, of the personal data is contested by the data subject, for a period enabling the controller to verify the accuracy of personal data. For a period enabling the controller to verify the accuracy of the personal data. Second situation is the situation where the processing is unlawful. And the data subject opposes the eraser of the personal data and requests. The processing is unlawful, and the data subject opposes the eraser of the personal data and requests the restriction of their use instead. I will repeat that. The eraser of the personal data and request the restriction of their use instead. Yes?
Sorry. I have a question. When the data subject try to exercise their rights to withdraw, to withdraw.
Yeah.
They file a motion to the data controller directly or to the data application authority.
Both, both in fact. If it is the first, of course, it is more oftenly solution and the quickly solution. And the second one is more reserved in the case of refuse of the data controller. And moreover, in the second case, if the data subject is right to the data authority, it's considered as a claim. So it will be treated differently of only ask to the data controller. But both, in fact. You have the choice. You know, there is not only in these matters, in any matters, the data subject or the law subject has always the choice to what kind of proceeding you do. I have been an advocate for a long time, and when I was advocate, I see my clients, and the job of an advocate is to decide the good way to defend the interest of the clients. And sometimes the good way is directly towards the data controller, but sometimes it can be the judge or the data authorities. It depends what you get, what kind of interest you are defending. In fact, I always say that if you want if you write to the data authorities, it's to have a sanction. In fact, you believe that the situation is unlawful since the beginning, and you are looking for a sanction. If you are in a peaceful way, this is toward the data protection, data officer, data control, that you go to. It depends. In fact, as I said, I know if some of you are advocates or lawyers, maybe, or work in a law firm. Maybe some of you work in a law firm, no? Not yet. Not yet. Maybe. And you will see what change are a good advocate or a bad advocate. It's not only the knowledge of the law, of course. Of course it is. This is the way you mastered the strategy to resolve the difference. And this is the difference. As fundamentally, this is the difference. Because a good advocate knows and maybe feel it's better, feel the good proceeding to resolve this thing. And maybe in two different situations depending on the same question of law, you will advise two different proceedings. Because the solution that you are searching for, the question of your clients will not be the same. So you have the choice. But the good lawyer always knows the different choice open. This is the difference. Okay.
I know the best choice.
You sorry?
I know the best choice.
You know? You think you know? I never know. I have been advocate for 16 years, so I get experience for this time. And at the difference, I can say when a client asks me something at the first rendezvous, I never know how I can find a solution for him. Not only because I don't know the solution in itself, because I don't know the way to find the solutions at first. And the job is to find it, of course, to advise to find it. And of course, the client always choose your advice and he chooses the solution. But for me, I considered that there is kind of humility from the lawyers in front of the difference, in front of the question asked for. So it's uneasy because sometimes you think that you have good reflex on the proceeding, but it's not sure that it was a good solution. It's a real big question you ask. In fact. I was said that there is four situation. The third situation, when the data subject shall have the right to obtain from the controller for restriction, is the time of the controller. The controller no longer needs the personal data. The controller no longer needs the personal data for the purposes of the proceeding. The controller no longer needs the personal data for the purposes of proceeding, but they are required by the data subject. They are required by the data subject for the establishment exercise or defense of legal claims. But they are required by the data subject for the establishment, exercise, or defense of legal claims. And the first time, hello? Hello? You can say whatever you want. Okay. And the fourth situation, this is the situation where the data subject has objected to processing. The data subject has objected to processing. Yeah, important things to know that these conditions are exhaustive. These conditions are all exhaustive, and this serves to enable the single market for data limiting by limitation, in fact. These services to enable the single market, these services to enable the single market for data by, as I said, limiting the limitation. Limiting the limitation. Indeed, conditioning restriction helps facilitate the free flow of data. Indeed, conditioning restrictions helps facilitate the free flows of data. In fact, if we're thinking about it, we are in the fully paradox of the GDPR. What for? Because in fact, the fully paradox of GDPR is, in one hand, protecting the personal data, and on the other hand, enabling its circulation in the single market. And protecting and circulating are two opposite sides, in fact. Because, I said it's kind of an equation as in mathematics. Find a solution to protecting and let circulating the data.
Yes.
It's difficult, and that's the GDPR tries to improve at this time. And it's, if I take a farthest point of view, the Commission, it's all new from yesterday, the European Commission drive public project. It was a project of text. It was waiting. So text waiting. Text called Regulation Omnibus. It seems it's a project of regulation that concerns all the question of digital law in the European Union. In one side, there is a question about the modification of the Hey Act, because the Hey Act is too complicated to be applied. Even more, it is applied since only August. Because maybe you don't know, but we have. Maybe I've seen that you have an international law course last year. Is it true? You have it or not? No. Artificial intelligence law last year. You don't have it? Okay. You never have. Okay. So you have to know that there is it was published last year a regulation as the GDPR, a regulation act concerning Hey. It is a framework for artificial intelligence, but it is very complicated, and it must be applied since last August. Depending on the state members, as an example, the state members should have been decided that there was an authority competent in the question of AA, and in France, but we are not alone in Europe, in the European Union. In France, we don't decide which authority. There is no order that decided which authority. Always know that it is the CNIL, the French CNIL, the authority of data protection, of data personal protection, will be the one for competent in AA, but it was not decided because, in fact, it's a paradox too. we have an effect decided by the state members, but it's so complicated that there is no state members which wanted to apply it. It's kind of paradox. And so that's why the European Commission gave public drive a new project that will change a part of the HEHE Act already, in fact. But this omnibus, this regulation omnibus project contain some projects of change of the GDPR. And one of the questions, and I come back to the paradox I said concerning circulating and protecting, the question asked by the project is to simplify the circulation, to help the circulation, but in fact, in trying to help the circulation, risk is to have a lower level of protection. And for the first reading of the project, some of us, law professor and some advocate too, said that the guarantee of protecting are lower than those are now applied with the GDPR. So it's a very critical point of view because it seems like the European Commission make a choice for the circulation of the data and protect less the rights and guarantees from the GDPR. We'll see. It's a project. We see because, as I explained yesterday, the European Parliament, must debate about that, and maybe the European Parliament will cancel the lower guarantee from the project of the European Commission. We'll see. It will take about several months to have the regulation adopted, the text adopted. We'll see. But you have to know that it would be. So you have to know that maybe a part of what I said may change in a year. Sorry, I'm not in the Commission, the European Commission. But some part of may change about the question of guarantee. After what I said can change too, because the European Court may adopt some decision that fix the guarantee that the treaty will not can change, and maybe the case depending of the charts I was talking about yesterday, the charts of human rights of the EU, that can be a reference that the Court of Justice choose in order to not change the rights and guarantee of the European citizens in the question of applying the GDPR. It's a really open, discussion about it. So we have now to talk about the fifth right. The fifth right, it's an important right. This is the right, like yours, of course, but it's a new right on this question. This is the right to be forgotten and the right to eraser. The right to be forgotten and the right to be eraser. In fact, in real life, unless there is a technical incident or a human error, personal information does not disappear from servers. One said that some data can survive to us, maybe survive to humanity, if the data are not, if the servers are not destroyed. This is what we do, what the Americans do when they send some satellites very, very far away. Maybe you have heard something about Voyager 2. Maybe you know that, Voyager 1, Voyager 2, that are at milliards, billions and billions and billions kilometers from the Earth. And there is recorded some data that explain what is the humanity, what is humans to the stars and further. So, what is humankind, in fact. I think nobody will never receive the message. Not ever. We don't know, in fact. Of course,